great, aren't they? I've been working out lately. Like,
Define
you might
working
have to
out.
change your handle. Because
Define
look
working
at
out.
these pipes. Look at these pipes.
Define working out.
I've actually started to do some Pilates with Jen.
Okay.
Yeah, because I am way too tight and unflexible, and
Inflexible.
I having like knee problems and back problems, and it's just coming down to like functional workouts as
Yeah.
opposed to beach muscles.
I think you're on track for what do they do? When you get old and you just have a chair underneath and you stand up and sit down like 30
Yeah,
times and then
yeah.
like the 3 pound weights and you just go like this in the air a few times. I think Pilates is I'm actually surprised that you admitted you're doing Pilates.
Yeah, I was going to say something else, but hey, we're friends, we're podcasters, we're family.
Pilates. Just
Yeah.
that is, I mean, I think a lot of men will pick up Pilates now just because you admitted that.
I don't know, like I need it. Like I have some nagging like leg injuries, and it's just because I don't do enough things to strengthen the joints and bones around my legs, right? Like I'm a man. I go to the gym, I lift some weights, do some curls, I'm out. That's not healthy for the long run.
Is Pilates the one with the sliding kind of
Oh
like you
yeah.
have an apparatus almost
Yeah.
and you're doing like kind of tension and like your body's always supposed to be tight in order to
Engage the core.
yeah.
I'm gonna be coming on this pod shirtless in the springtime.
Shirtless in December, you'd be the only guy in the country that would be willing to do that. I commend you. All right, what are we doing this evening?
Well, hello and welcome to week 11 of the NFL season. Last week in week 10, we saw Kyler Murray return, Mac Jones get benched, Joshua Dobbs throw for a career high. My Niners broke a 3-game losing streak. The Raiders are back to 500 and 6 game-winning field goals, Big Ben. Are field goal kickers now the face of the NFL?
I was witness to one of them, and it was just a kind of squirrely week in some weird matchups where like teams were it's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, where you have those, and then the last punch is the one that knocks the head and the game's over. It felt like a lot of games went like that, including the Redskins and Seahawks and Jason Myers winning that game for him because Geno Smith finally found DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf did what DK Metcalf should always do and get like 30 yards after the catch.
You should.
It was a good week for NFL football.
It's a great week. And you know what all our listeners should do? Each week they should listen to us because we're live on nofilter.net and Caffeine TV. We usually bring on a special guest, but this week it's just Big Ben and K Winn. So thank you for joining, and we got a great show. We're going to talk about week 11. We're going to break down some matchups. If you're a betting person, you're definitely going to want to listen because we're going to give you some key strategies and tips on 10 week 11 games. We're also going to talk about surprising and disappointing NFL teams, a little NFL fantasy redraft. We might talk a little Bill Belichick as well. I'm K Winn. He's Big Ben. Let's go.
Okay, so when we had to shuffle a little bit, let's be honest, when we had to shuffle a little bit for this episode and say, okay, what do we want to bring in the fold? We were going to have a guest. Unfortunately, I believe they had to start cooking their turkey early for Thanksgiving and couldn't make it. Surprises and disappointments. We are more than halfway through the season. We kind of have an idea of who's who in the NFL. Who are some of your surprises? Like teams you're like, if you went back to the start of the season and boom, you saw the standings, you're like, what is going on with that? Who do you single out here?
So the way that I would describe this is like you've got your buy low teams. Who are your 4 or 5 win teams that you would buy low right now that you would ride off into the sunset in the playoffs? And I got one, the Houston Texans, 5-4. We never thought CJ Stroud would play this well this soon. And I was thinking more about this. None of the skilled players, if you look at PFF or any kind of rankings, none of them are probably in the top 10 of their positions. You got Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz,
Tank
Dell, Delvin Singletary, beat up offensive line, and he's doing the damn thing. He's playing well, back-to-back wins on the final drive. The Texans are my surprise team, and get this, I'm going to say they go 10-7 and get a wild card.
Hey, listen, I don't think you're wrong there. Look at the AFC South. The Jaguars got exposed these last 2 games. Honestly, I mean, they looked atrocious against the Niners. And when you say that around CJ Stroud, there's talks of him for MVP.
I know.
But the last thing I'll say about the Texans, the reason I love that, we all know in baseball, when you look at, in this case, it's point differential and run differential, point differential being the NFL, run differential in the MLB. If you look at and you're like, how is that team there? They're negative. They're, 6, like something's off.
Yeah.
The algorithm's going to write itself. The Texans are sitting there at 5-4 with a plus 25 run or a point differential. Jaguars only plus 5.
Well, you said it first. Look at the South. They still have to play the Colts, the Titans, and the Jags.
Listen, Gardner Minshew and Will Levis are like, they would be bros together, but I'm not saying they're winning NFL football games against CJ Stroud and the Texans. Like, that's probably not happening. And Trevor Lawrence, let's be honest, they are 6-3.
Yeah.
They have the same record as the Niners, but they are definitely trending down where CJ Stroud and the Texans are trending up. For my surprise, this is just, I almost don't want to preview this team because
let's hear it.
I'm going to use them later. And it's not a surprise to me. So I'm going to actually, the surprise is just how horrible the New England Patriots are.
Yeah.
They're not a good football team.
No.
Like, just not. They're not. And it seems like Belichick's given up. The saddle is on the horse and he's about to mount it to ride off into the sunset. Like, it's that bad. Mac Jones, zippy or zappy, is going to be the quarterback through the end of the year.
Is that an improvement?
I don't know, but just thank gosh the Celtics are good, and the Bruins are probably playing again well. Because listen, the post Tom Brady era has been rough, and I think Belichick's probably going to say, "Listen, my schemes aren't working anymore, and our defense isn't as good as it used to be. Probably time for some analytics guru to come in." When you got Mike McDaniel, who's probably coached 1/100th as long as Belichick. And he's coming in with the Dolphins and they're leading the division. There's something to be said for that. I think the game has changed, evolved, and I just know the Patriots just seem like an old team.
Yeah. Well, and it was reported this week that Bill Belichick will no longer be with the Patriots, and he already knows his next team, which I tried to think of like coaches on the hot seat and where he could go. I don't think he's going to LA. I don't think he's going to Chicago. I don't think he's going to Carolina. I don't think he's going to New Orleans.
So where is he going?
I mean, where I think he'd be a good fit, the Giants or the Jets, but I don't think they'll move off of Saleh too quick or Dable.
I could see him taking an advisory role for one of those teams. You mentioned the Giants or the Jets. Just because he's not, how far is New York from Boston?
4-hour train ride?
Yeah, exactly. So you're not altering your lifestyle all that much. You can get to and from home pretty quickly. And then, in Doble's case, you become an advisor. And then if he tanks again next year. But I could see, honestly.
Backup plan.
There you go, right? Backup plan. Not only that, but you could see there's a lot of organizations that seems like have no idea how to restructure and move forward. Like, I feel like Belichick could be there for a lot of that. And then also, not that he's hit on quarterbacks in the past. Mac Jones is.
He's only hit on one. That's Brady.
Exactly. But that gives him enough clout to walk in a room and evaluate quarterbacks, which a lot of teams are going to need to do, especially the Giants. Like, Daniel Jones is out of his contract after next year. The pace they're going, they might be the first number one draft or have the first pick in the next year's draft. Give me your disappointment. And you can't say
I'm gonna give you another surprise team. Steelers. Like, how not a pleasant surprise. Like, how are they 6-3? How are they winning games? They're getting outscored. They can't get in the end zone. Every game is ugly. They have no passing game. They can't figure out Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, and yet they're 6-3.
That's again. This is the other team. Actually, I hope you would bring up because they're 6-3 with a -26 differential. So they're squeaking out wins, but getting shellacked in others. And that's a product of when you squeak out a win. It's usually special teams or a pick six or something like a defensive touchdown that wins the game for you. I think they've been reluctant. And TJ Watt is a beast. He'll win you one game a year, in my opinion. Yeah, Tomlin's got staying power.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good coach, right? Like we talk about Brendan Staley, Josh McDaniels. Like if you don't have the talent or the scheme, you just figure out what you have and you win ball games. And that's what Mike Tomlin's doing right now.
If someone give me a lineup of quarterbacks and said this guy's in the NFL and his team is 6-3 in a really tough division, and you point at Kenny Pickett, I would laugh until you're lying. Like you're right. He's doing a lot with a little. That's for sure. It might catch up with them in this second round. I mean, the Ravens are looking good. The Browns defense is phenomenal. And, I don't want to sleep on the Bengals either. So that's going to be a tough division for them to sustain that.
So you want to talk about disappointment?
Yeah.
I don't want to say
always very nice to people. You're overly nice. So are you going to be able to bring up a disappointment?
I don't want to do the Bills. That's too easy. I'll say the Broncos. Like, I'm a little disappointed in. I mean, I know they're playing better now, but but Sean Payton, so-called genius, offensive guru. Like, I'm a little disappointed with. I think it has more to do with the Bills playing bad than the Broncos actually winning.
I could see that.
Like the Bills had that penalty at the end of the game. So I know penalties count and they lost the game, but the Broncos should have lost that game. And the Broncos should have lost the game against the Chiefs when Mahomes was hurt and sick and Kelsey was lovesick.
I'm going to advocate for Ken Dorsey here. He's the offensive coordinator, but yet he may still have his job if the special teams coach doesn't put 12 players on the field. I don't get that. I think Denver is who everyone kind of thought. I think they're picking up. I think Sean Payton's realizing in that first year what Russell Wilson can actually do and not do, and then kind of having to adapt the offense a bit to allow for that. Jared Judy's back. Javonte Williams is running pretty well as of late. So the AFC West is the Chiefs and everybody else.
I guess I'm more disappointed in a division than a team, and it'd be the AFC West. I thought the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders would be a little bit better. I know they've played better as of late, but the future doesn't look bright for those three.
Yeah. My biggest, I'm not going to lean on the Bills. No way of disappointment. As I look at the standings here, I'm always disappointed in the NFC South. Like it's just it stinks every year. Outside of Brady's year in Tampa, where I think he had 2 years, right?
He had 2. His first year was good. His second year, they were
9-8 or 8-7.
Yeah,
something like that. It's just a horrible. I don't know. I don't get it. It's like if every other division, or excuse me, every other division draws the NFC South, the projected wins just go up by 4, and like everyone else doesn't make the playoffs because what I'm saying is I don't know how they're so bad. Like, is it? I don't get it. And it hasn't just been this year. It's been like the last 5.
Yeah. Remember when the South had Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Drew Brees? It was tough. Jameis Winston. Before him, Aaron Brooks. But it was competitive. It was always tough.
Right. Maybe it's kind of the graduation. I guess now that you say that, the graduation of those quarterbacks on has really left it to what? Who are we talking about? Taylor Heineke now for the Falcons, and Derek
Desmond
Carr, who's
Ritter
hurt.
is
Yeah.
back. I mean, Bryce Young's a little young.
And then Baker Mayfield is starting in that division. That's bad. Let's just point to the quarterbacks and move on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What do we got? And
Would you-
here, let me set this up for you.
All right, let's hear it.
So this is a redraft of fantasy.
Yeah.
So let's say you have you got the first pick. For some reason, you have the first 3 picks.
Okay.
And this person that you're now drafting, you not only are drafting them for current or what they've produced, but also projected in the future. So I need 3 names because this is about trade deadline time. This is about when you put in, you go, okay, am I playoff bound, or do I start snooping for keepers? Like, there's a lot of factors that go into this. So I need 3 names where you're like, this is because Justin Jefferson's not around, right? There's a lot of guys that Derrick Henry hasn't produced. Austin Eckler hasn't produced. Like this, you basically light the first round of your original draft on fire outside of maybe Stephon Diggs and I don't even know who, to be honest.
If it's a redraft, knowing what I know now in the first 10 weeks, I mean, number one's got to be Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he scores touchdowns. He had that streak. He didn't score last week, over 100 yards. He's got to be number one. I mean, if it's a redraft, knowing what we know now, ooh, this is going to be tough. I was going to say I would keep Austin Eckler in there.
You think he's rebounding?
He's rebounding. He's scoring touchdowns. The Chargers are putting up points. I would still draft him at number 2.
Ooh.
Now, number 3, I have a 3A and a 3B. Tyreek Hill is my 3A. AJ Brown's my 3B.
Tomato in a way.
Yeah, especially if you're in a PPR league.
Yeah. Yeah, we should probably call that out, PPR, non-PPR. Yeah, I think those 4, like, so for me, I look at, like, most people are probably going to pick the 4 that you named, right? So in my head, I'm like, all right, where can I, like, find a balance of sure things going forward with, like, some guy upside? So Bijan Robinson's on a bye this week, comes off one. I think there's going to be a whole restructuring.
Yeah.
Gibbs, I think, is going to get more and more opportunities. He had 2 touchdowns last week, and they play in a dome. Like, in winter, you want guys in domes. And then I think, so those would be 2, both rookies. I think they have the legs. And then from a wide out, yeah, it's so hard to go away from, like, AJ Brown.
Yeah. I mean, CD Lamb's playing well lately.
He is.
But I worry about Dak, if Dak can keep it up.
Yeah, exactly. I trust Jalen more than I trust Dak for sure. Fantasy's been weird this year.
If we flip it around, like, we're in a fantasy football league in No Filter where it's 1 quarterback, I think it's 3 receivers, 2 running backs, flex, and then super flex. So you need 2 quarterbacks. And shame on me again for the 2nd straight year. I started out with Kenny Pickett as my super flex, moved off of him to Gardner Minshew, moved off of him. I have Aiden O'Connell and Jameis Winston. Next year, I'm drafting quarterbacks, I think, in the top 2 rounds. If you're in a super flex league, quarterback is the most important position. And I'm scuffling around like 8th or 9th in the league because I can't find a quarterback who consistently could score at least 10 to 15 points.
I played Zach Wilson last week. And Mac Jones the week before that. The oddity of this year in fantasy is just like I said, it seems like that first round, if you're in a snake draft, no one's producing. Maybe your AJ Browns, maybe your Tyler Kills, and then
Cooper Kupp's not because he's been out.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of these people, Derrick Henry hasn't, Eckler hasn't been what you thought he'd be. Like it's been an odd year in fantasy. And maybe I'm just justifying the fact that my team suck. That could probably be it too.
I want to talk about running backs that I was too high on. Damon Pierce for the Texans.
He was sneaky, like second, third round for a lot of people. Thought they were.
He has 1 touchdown this year. 1 touchdown.
And that's the difference. You make like a first round miss and don't make it up with a late round hit, you're done. Game over. Game over. And Damon Pierce was that person. You drafted him, you were toast.
Well, him and Tony Pollard, those are the 2 running backs coming in this pod that haven't produced to their average draft position. Pollard was at the end of the first round if you're in a 12-person league. If you're in a 10, he's probably a second round pick. He has 2 touchdowns.
Damon Pierce, Tony Pollard. If you drafted Nick Chubb, season over.
Yeah.
Season over. Unless you picked up like an Iche or Kyrie Williams. Like there's been all these weird waiver wire drafts, I would say so. We should do a mid-season. We should really do a mid-season league redraft.
All right.
Also, I think there's.
But what if you're winning the league?
Oh no, you win. You win the first half.
Oh, so you're saying you played
I want to structure something where I thought about this the other day, where you draft your first half team, right?
Okay.
Then changes happen. Okay, everyone goes back in the pool. You draft your second half team, and those are 2 like 6-week seasons. Okay, it's short. But then you get a combined the 2 teams.
Oh.
And like make your own little super team if you would. Now obviously some people would pick up teams that you didn't carry on but find some way where like your drafting expertise really was the ultimate value rather than having to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and going on the waiver wire draft thing and bidding money, all whatever.
Now, with the first half, is it just get to week 8 and whoever wins the league, or are you starting playoffs at week 6?
I think I would do plays. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Playoffs at week 6. Like, let's make this a season. And then kind of the Super Bowl at week 8, where it's like really, you're not winding down and then do the same thing again. Come, play into week 16.
I'll take your idea and one up it. I would love a fantasy football in-season tournament like the NBA is having. So you go like weeks 8 through 11.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You play and you could win like 10% of the pot if you win the little in-season tournament.
I think less is more with fantasy football. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I'm saying if we only drafted like 6 players, a quarterback, running back, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. Like no kicker, no independent position.
How big's your bench going to be?
Well, you get 1 bench spot, maybe 2 to account for buys. But like predominantly the goal would be, your focus is on drafting those 5 best players and it's not diluted. You can pick up some good players and so forth. But get to the point where like you can easily keep track of your score, like, offline type of thing. And it's more manageable by you. It's a little more fun. I feel like I get too in the weeds when I'm, trying to, like I said, find waiver wire pickups at 2:30 and I'm stressed out. And
there's no one on the waiver wire. Like
there's no one
in our no filter league. Like the benches are too deep and it's like, I got to pick up this person and play. They might not even start on Sunday.
I picked up the Raiders rookie tight end and he scored a touchdown. I let out a yelp. I was like, yeah. I was like, why are you yelling at the Raiders game? I'm like, well,
shout out to Michael Mayer.
Yeah, picked up Michael Mayer and finally he caught a touchdown and I think I beat Pepe. Maybe I lost. I don't know. Either way. All right, move on.
You want to get in some picks?
No. Dark horse.
No. Oh, dark horse.
Not dark horse. Horse. Pick your horse.
It's just one team?
One team the rest of the season. Where they're all at the starting gates. All teams. All 32 NFL teams. And you are the jockey. and you get to walk along the starting gate and jump on a horse with the idea that he is going to win the Super Bowl.
Whew. Wow. I mean, I can't go Niners because everyone think I'm a homer. I don't want to go Chiefs because I don't think they have the firepower, but they do have the defense. I'm going to go, let's see, AFC. I'm definitely not going Cowboys. Let's go Lions. Let's go Dan Campbell Lions. That's who I'm going. That's my horse. I'm riding it. They have a great defense. They've got a lot of weapons. Gibbs is coming along. Amon St. Brown's the number one offense. They got Sam Laporta. Jared Goff, he's been to the Super Bowl before. He's got the experience. Did I take your pick?
You scoot over, and I was going to say this. Listen, it came out that Jim Harbaugh had said that Michigan is now America's team simply because the NCAA was coming after them. And I was going to say, Jim, you know what? There's an America's team in Michigan. Not you. It's the Lions. And you know where the Lion fandom is going to catch? Just shoot up and to the right like a stock IPO. Something around cybersecurity or something like that. It's going to be come Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
When they have an opportunity to showcase. I mean, Lions gear is going to be coming off the shelves. Lions will become America's team.
I mean, this is the year, right? Like in the North, there's no Rodgers. The Vikings, I mean, I know they're what, 6-4, I think.
Yeah.
But their wins have lately been against the Bears and the Saints and no one good.
Yeah.
No,
I think go.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would pick the Niners, but we're going Lions.
We're Lions pod from here on out. Let's go.
There we go. All right. Should we get into picks?
Yeah. We got to pause, though.
Oh, that's right. Before we get into picks, I want to tell you about my little new friend. It's my new morning ritual, my new morning routine. It's a shot of Magic Mind. It gives me a boost of energy, sustained energy, and it clears up my mind. Gives me clarity. It's all the rage, and I love it. What do you think of Magic Mind?
It's a little guy about yay big. So you don't, you're not mixing something up and trying to suck it down in the middle of the morning. And, it's something you pop on your way out the door. It's got a slight tinge of, it feels a little fiery, so it gets you moving. And then it's sustained. It's not like whoa, this is great. It's not 5-hour energy, where you're not going to find this at a 7-Eleven. You have to subscribe to get it, but it's worth it. And you're going to want to keep it coming. I use it probably every day of the week outside of Sunday because I feel like I like my mind not so magic on Sundays. I just need to read the comics. So if you're interested and would love to use the little burst of energy and the little burst of cognitive energy and the little emotional uplift that Magic Mind can give you, you can get it at magicmind.com/Big Ben and use our promo code Big Ben 20. You'll receive discounted pricing that is up to 56% off your first subscription or 20% off your one-time purchase. Trust me, you just want to keep it coming. Have it show up at your door. I love it. I do it. It's great. It's got anti-aging. If you haven't noticed that I'm not aging as fast too. Magic Mind's
but great. Not only it gives you the boost of energy and the clarity, but it's packed with all these healthy ingredients. It's vegan. There's no sugar. It's paleo friendly. It's like a farmer's market full of fresh vegetables and fruits and energy every morning. I love it, but don't take our word for it. You should go try it out on your own. That's magicmind.com/Big Ben, magicmind.com/Big Ben, magicmind.com/Big Ben, and use our promo code Big Ben 20.
I can just picture people trying to type that in right now. They're just going, what? Okay. The picks are not in. We are going to make them K Winn.
We are going to make them. And we're going to be independent from each other. There's none of this like, I pick this,
Whoa.
you're with me. We're going to head on picks this week.
Okay, let me add a line, add a row then.
Did you get your
Insert
Mariners
line.
hat?
I did. It's actually in the shower. It's getting properly worked up. So got to make it smell good, kind of break it in. And I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for the
All right, folks, we're going to get into 10 games. Why 10? Because some of these games are awful. So we're only going to get into 10 this week. But listen up. We're going to give you some keys to the game, break down some situations. And if you're in last man standing, or if you're just a degenerate gambler, you're going to want to listen up.
Okay, first game, K Winn. The Pittsburgh Steelers go into Cleveland. God, they mirror each other in their records. Browns are 4-1 at home. Tickets, K Winn. Tickets to get into Brown Stadium, 160 bones.
Wow.
High ticket here. This could decide who gets a playoff spot in that division. Do you agree?
I agree.
Deshaun Watson's no longer around.
Nope.
PJ Walker, who played in the XFL.
No, DTR, UCLA, he's getting the start.
DTR's getting the start. Even worse for the Browns.
Oh.
Okay. Who do you have in the game?
So the Browns' best starting quarterback option is now in Minnesota. And the Steelers' best quarterback option is probably somewhere in college. This is going to be a very low-scoring game, but the Steelers have found a way to win all year with their stingy defense and making plays at the right time. If Najee Harris and Warren combine to get more than 175 yards, I think they win, and I think they will. I'm going Steelers here.
I was going to say, you can't make any contingency picks. Like, oh, that didn't happen. So
Listen, if I'm wrong, go back to the box score and you'll see.
I'm going to take the Browns just in spite of you. They're at home. I can just picture these guys, the end zone, doing their, what do you call them? The dog pack? The dog pack? Dog pound. Where I like the one that's a dog smoking a cigar. That's my favorite one. And it's not because of DTR. I think they're just going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball some more. Find a way to win. Myles Garrett will probably have 3 strip sacks, and the game will win the game 21-14.
So we're convinced that neither team's going to throw the ball.
No, if they do, it's going to be like a
Bubble
1-yard
screen.
slant, shovel pass.
All right, next game. We got the Chargers in Green Bay. Who do you like, Big Ben?
It's a little weird game to me. Like those are like Green Bay, Wisconsin, LA. Like there's just nothing that cheese, vegan cheese, like it's just completely opposite. And but they're very similar in how good they've been this year. And I mean, Herbert put up big numbers last week. Keenan Allen's probably been one of the steadiest wide receivers this season in the NFL. And Green Bay just can't figure out. I don't know if Jordan Love's the answer. He's not. It's a transitionatory season for the Green Bay. But that said, it's in Green Bay. I think, and it looks like it's gonna. Oh, it's raining. It's over. Green Bay in a landslide. Herbert might melt, and there's gonna be a lot of drop passes. I got Green Bay. They're gonna run the ball with Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, be fine. Luke Musgraves catch a touchdown in the end zone and call it a day.
So Green Bay's lost 5 of their last 6 games. Inconsistent on the ground. This two-headed monster of Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon isn't working out. And they can't figure out how to get the ball in the hands of their best player, Christian Watson. So Jordan Love, 10 interceptions. He's got 5 because he's forcing the ball to Christian Love. 5 of them are to Christian Love. And Matt LaFleur, all of a sudden, is maybe getting exposed for who he actually is. Not a very good coach. I'm going with the Chargers here. They're on a roll. They scored 5 of their last 5 possessions. They would have scored again, but they didn't get the ball against the Lions. I'm going Herbert. It rained this week in LA. They'll be ready for the rain. I got the Chargers.
Mark it on your calendar. It rained in LA. Everyone was extremely put off and inconvenienced by a drizzle of rain for 10 minutes. Wow, this is. If you would ask me before this game, before the season, I would have said the combined record of these two teams at this point probably would have been 2 and whatever remaining games we have. What, 9? So 2-18 collectively. Arizona at Houston. Kyler Murray comes back first off the cleats that he I guess debuted. Amazing.
Fire.
As the young kids would say. Which Kyler Murray looked kind of Kyler Murray-ish last week.
Yeah, you look good. But
they're in Houston.
Mm-hmm. In RG Stadium.
MVP. Do we hear a chant this week?
Oh,
MVP.
yeah.
Does Dameon Pierce get in the end zone?
He might still be out as of Thursday. This recording.
He went for 150 and a TD.
I know.
Whoa. Fancy that. He's not running in Buffalo where it's -4, for half his games. I'll take the Texans. That's a fun pick.
I'm going with the future. And I'm not talking about that guy who sings Mask Off. I'm talking about CJ Stroud. The Texans are becoming close to America's team. They might give the Lions a run for their money. But in all seriousness, the Texans have struggled running the ball. Last week, they ran the ball against a good Bengals defense. I think they continue it. They take another step. I'm going the Texans this year. I got a question for you, Big Ben.
Yes.
Who would you rather have at quarterback, CJ Stroud or Trevor Lawrence?
What style of offense am I trying to run? So if
Kyle Shanahan offense.
Oh, fine. What?
Yeah, hard one, huh?
I like Trevor Lawrence, and I like him in kind of an RPO type. Like, give me this guy that's going to hold the edge, and then also be able to drop back and throw. I think CJ is more of strictly kind of your drop back guy.
He ran in a touchdown last week, gave the Ohio.
God, you got to let me make my decision kind of unbiased.
You did, and I didn't like it.
Who do you like more, Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud? CJ Stroud's so good. Just
I thought you were done.
I'll take Stroud.
You're going to take Stroud?
Hey, listen, if I pass on him now and I kind of know who Trevor Lawrence is right now. I don't think he'll make incremental growth, but he's not gonna, get out of bed one day and throw 60-yard ropes. Like CJ is still progressing. So
this is why I brought up this question. We're going to go on a little tangent here. Everyone said Trevor Lawrence was a generational quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be a generational quarterback. In your mind, what's a generational quarterback?
Well, first define a generational quarterback. So give me an example of what you believe a generational quarterback is.
Great. I think a generational quarterback should have 3 characteristics, Big Ben. Number 1, the lowest bar, they need to win a Super Bowl. They have to have a ring. That is the lowest bar.
So who do we have in the last 20 years? Just understand that most of our listeners are probably within that bandwidth. Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson,
Mahomes,
Joe
Flacco. He won. Hey, I'm just saying the lowest bar.
Okay, he didn't win. Let's be honest. Joe Flacco didn't win. No, he
Eli Manning, Peyton Manning.
Yep. Okay, so we got 8. Let's go with those 8.
Okay, that's the lowest bar. That's requirement 1. Requirement 2, you need to be an MVP of the league.
Okay, so of those, I think all of them have MVPs behind their
Flacco's not MVP of the league.
That's why he's already off the. I never included him.
Eli Manning was an MVP. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger was MVP.
I don't think Russ ever won MVP.
I don't think Russ ever won MVP. So what do we got? We got Brady,
Brady, Breeze, Rodgers,
Mahomes,
Manning, Mahomes.
Peyton Manning, not Eli Manning.
Peyton Manning. So
and then the third requirement, it takes a long time to get this. You got to break some kind of passing record. Like you've got to be up there. Your legacy has to be up in the record book. So Peyton Manning, Breeze, Brady, I think Mahomes will get there. That drops Rodgers off the list.
Okay.
That is a generational quarterback.
Brady, Breeze, Manning. So can CJ Stroud become Tom Brady, Drew Brees, or Peyton Manning?
Or can Trevor Lawrence? Because
Trevor Lawrence can't. Trevor Lawrence isn't going to become any of those guys. Trevor Lawrence is kind of this anomaly right now because he's not Lamar Jackson. Like he doesn't have breakaway speed. He's not that athlete. But yet he's not your drop back Tom Brady, Drew Brees. He's this. He can win football games for you, but it's just in a different manner. I honestly, this is why Tommy DeVito is out there starting a quarterback for. Like it is tough to be as good as those guys. Really hard. But yet expectations from fans, front offices is that you have to go find that guy.
It's hard to find that guy.
And in some cases you do. Like go talk to Chiefs fans. Like Patrick Mahomes wasn't a sure thing, but yet he turned out to be the thing, the guy for at least the last 6 years. Now CJ Stroud could easily, I think there's a gap here. Yes. Like there's no one, he doesn't have many peers in a class above him or below him that you're saying, wow, they're really good too.
Brock Purdy's above him.
Like you proved my point. Like,
yeah. But CJ has to win the Super Bowl, right? And he has to win an MVP.
Well, yeah, all in due time. Like, but the trajectory is there, is what I'm saying. And at least in we've seen such a small sample. I don't think
I guess what I'm saying, there's not a lot of generational quarterbacks out there.
No, that's why Tommy DeVito is starting for the Giants. Like, there's not even close,
That's why Desmond Ritter is on the Falcons.
Exactly. Like, the game is so fast now on the defensive side. Athletes have gotten so much bigger, so much faster, so much better that being a quarterback in the NFL is not easy. Joe Burrow went out again with another, he'd be another guy you talk about. He might be a generational quarterback, right?
Yeah.
He's nearly won a Super Bowl. He's probably going to he's getting hurt. He's getting hurt. I mean, it's not as easy, I think, as it was. And it's due to the speed of the game.
Like well, I don't like these labels, right? Like Trevor's a good quarterback. Will he be great? I don't know. Like Caleb Williams, I don't call him a generational quarterback because we don't know what he's going to look like when he gets to the NFL.
He's even generational in the construct of college football. Like every year it seems like there's generational quarterbacks. And the guy we didn't even talk about, a guy like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Like he's a different quarterback. Now, you might fault him because he doesn't have passing records, but man, he's winning a lot of ball games, And he wasn't your prototypical quarterback. He had to transfer in order to even go play starting quarterback because Tua was around. Like it's just, I don't know. Tommy DeVito, the guy, he's starting. That guy is starting NFL quarterback, like one of 32.
Well, injury played a part. Tyron Taylor.
But still,
got
the fact
hurt
that he's there tells you, and the point I'm trying to make there is good quarterbacks. There is quarterbacks that can win you games, and then there's everyone else, and everyone else is the Tommy DeVitos, the Taylor Heineke's of the world. That's
lay off Tommy, okay?
Listen, come on.
All right, so we move on to the next generational quarterback. He plays for the Las Vegas Raiders. Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders go to Miami to play the Dolphins. Who do you like?
So the Las Vegas is going to be coming off high. I think they've won 2 games straight now, haven't they?
2-0 under Pierce.
With Pierce. It's, by the way, I would like to discuss how Antonio Pierce can just absolutely ruin a college program. Not ruin.
ASU?
He didn't ruin it, but gosh knows he had some improper recruiting tactics, and then when he was found out, he just left.
Yeah.
See ya.
That's
Now
what
he's
Jim
coaching the
Harbaugh's
Raiders.
going to do.
The Raiders look like.
Oh, you didn't like my Jim Harbaugh call? He's the next one. Hey, write this down. Jim Harbaugh's about to pull a Pete Carroll. After Pete Carroll won all that at USC, he was gone to the NFL. Harbaugh's next. What happens when you get caught? You move to the NFL.
Exactly, where he can get away with damn near anything. To me, so the Raiders have celebrated these past 2 wins like they were a 15th seed beating a 2 seed, and then a 15th seed beating an 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't know if that's sustainable. And Adrian O'Connell, he's what, a third-year guy out of Purdue?
He's
like
rookie.
Is he a rookie? I think
He's
he's
rookie.
a little older than a rookie, but nonetheless to say, I think it's a get-right game for the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins I don't think they run up 70 again, but Aniche, Hunche, maybe coming off IR this week. Mozart's okay. I think the Dolphins put up at least a 30 burger on the Raiders, and I don't know. Josh Jacobs has like 35 carries a game for 90 yards. Like, it's just excruciating to watch. And then Devontae Adams is getting ticked off on because he can't get a ball thrown to him properly. So
that was old Raider regime. It's different now.
Did they send you cigars after that last game? K Winn, thanks
Maybe.
for being a loyal fan. All right, I got the Dolphins. Who you got?
Tyreek Hill, Raiders killer, 11 games. He has 6 touchdowns, 800 yards. But this is not Josh McDaniels' Raiders team. This is Antonio Pierce's Raider team. They're playing with different energy. They get after it, and they feed Josh Jacobs. They never gave the ball to Jacobs with McDaniels, and that was a problem because Jimmy can't throw the damn ball. He needs to run the ball. I've got the Raiders with my super dog this week winning. And you know who's going to come out of hiding? Hunter Renfrow. Big touchdown.
No.
They're starting to play Hunter. So you got Jacobs, Renfrow, Adams, Myers, and your boy Mayer. The Raiders are on the up and up.
I think you're taking too much of that CJ Stroud energy and applying it to the Raiders. That's my opinion. But I can't wait till the Dolphins trounce them. Okay. The G-Men, double Tommy DeVito rolling into FedEx Field to play the Commanders, who excruciating loss against the Seahawks. Again, I was witness to that game. The Commanders were reluctant to score. They scored on a broken play. Jamal Adams might be the worst safety. I'll regress or save that for the Seahawks game. But I'm going to take the Commanders. I can't pick the Giants. Can't.
I can't do it either. Sam Howell has 17 touchdowns, is leading the league in passing, and the Giants have one of the worst defenses, total defense and passing defense. I'm with you, Commanders. It's the first one we agreed on all night.
No, we got Texans.
All right. Tampa in San Francisco.
What sports radio up in San Fran started talking about?
How
many players do we sit during this game? Do we rest so-and-so? Or would we be all right by just signing a few guys from the practice squad to play in this game? Like, that's the things I think they're probably contemplating up in San Fran. The only thing I see in positive light for the Bucks, Cade Otton's looked pretty good. Mike Evans actually looked pretty good.
Baker hasn't been that bad. He's been decent.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. Take the Buccaneers against any other NFC South team. They look pretty good. Take them out of that, and, kind of turn up the lights. It's pretty ugly. And I think they get exposed. Baker gets exposed. I think Bosa is going to you know those sacks where you kind of get over him and then you crawl across his face because you're halfway up. I think there's going to be a few of those on Baker this week. Niners in a landslide.
Niners, easy work. Race to the quarterback. What are you going to do? If you're not going to double Bosa, you're going to double Young. I think the Niners defense, they came back. They bounced back. Trevor couldn't get his offense going because he was under pressure the whole game. I think he had 3 turnovers, and I think Baker's going to turn the ball over. And the Niners are going to do what the Niners do. Big Trent Williams is back. They're going to run the ball, bubble screens to Debo, jet sweeps to Debo, Ayuk deep. You're going to want Ayuk in your fantasy league this week, Big Ben. Don't text me. I'm telling you right now, I got the Niners as well.
Got him. Okay,
the Jets.
Yeah.
Jets versus the Bills.
So I referenced the firing of Ken Dorsey as offensive coordinator. They had to have a fall person.
Oh.
Josh Allen is just he needs some reprogramming. He needs a
new coach. Sean McDermott. He should have been the fall guy.
God, you don't like head coaches. I feel like your resume is out there too, propagating. I personally think the Jets PR person has the same storyline sent out to every news media outlet. Zach Wilson is still our quarterback. Turn it around. Everyone, we're invested in Salah. It's the same thing. And Buffalo isn't far from that. It's becoming, it isn't. It's like Josh Allen, went from MVP candidate to this guy that to Diggs' brother's comment, would he be even worse if there wasn't, if Diggs wasn't around? Gabe Davis is on a milk carton. It's that bad, and
I can tell you where he is. He's on my fantasy football bench.
Yeah, exactly. He's been there. He's an enigma in fantasy. You know who I feel sorry for? Have you watched Marvin Harrison Jr. play?
Yeah, he's great.
He's phenomenal. Garrett Wilson wasn't far from him. Garrett Wilson is teamed with the most atrocious quarterbacks. When he had Joe Flacco throwing to him, another Joe Flacco comment, Joe Flacco throwing to him last year in the first 4 weeks, he averaged 120 yards plus and a touchdown each game.
He was great.
He was phenomenal.
He was top 5 wide receiver with Flacco.
Now
Flacco was generational. Oh, you're not going to be able to finish the pod.
Don't at me. This whole thing with Garrett Wilson is probably I do think he has, going back to the redraft, I would draft Garrett Wilson 10 times over 1 time to Stephon Diggs if he had a different quarterback. Anyone else outside of Tommy DeVito too in the NFL. Give me Jameis Winston and Garrett Wilson.
He would look good with Jameis because Jameis throws the deep ball.
Bucks it. He needs someone like that because you've seen him make catches that are just different.
Yeah.
He makes a catch where he, pads it with one hand and then comes over with another.
Let's be honest. Flacco's not known for his accuracy.
No, no. And then, so Garrett Wilson can make up for poor throws. It will be interesting. This is one game I will watch just to see what Buffalo does. Do you, or is everything everyone's saying about you true? That it's in disarray, that Josh Allen isn't, we're down on Josh. He's turnover prone. The offense doesn't work. Or do you flip it and all of a sudden, win by 20, 30, like maybe you should? Dude, this is a toss-up to me, honestly. Because I could see the storyline: Jets beat the Bills at home and on a shorter week for the Bills.
They almost beat the Bills in week 1.
Yeah. And to be honest, what scares me too, in that you bring that up, that this is the second time around, and you and I both know this. When you play a team the second time around, it's twice as hard to beat them again.
Yeah. And the Jets have a great defense.
Exactly. Jets. Give me the Jets. Hopefully, I'm gonna have to take the Bills license plate holder off my
Take your ringer off. Buffalo's offense is too predictable. It's stagnant. It's not creative. I want to see more RPOs. I want to see more pre-stat motions. I want to see some flair. We know what we're going to get from the Jets offense. The Bills, I think they can turn it around a little bit. Give me the Bills.
Okay.
All right.
Are we doing skin in the game here?
What do you mean? Oh, we
Yeah.
might. Let me see your next
We have
couple
too many
picks.
hats. How about a pair of socks? Like a nice pair of socks.
All right, pair of socks. Seattle, in my hometown,
Are you
playing the
going to this game?
Rams. No, I'm not going. This is a
Matt
garbage
Stafford's
game.
back.
This is a battle for third place in the NFC West.
Matt Stafford's back. Oh, that's funny. Matt Stafford's back.
Hurt thumb. No Carson Wentz. We're gonna see Carson Wentz this weekend.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I don't think Stafford's thumb's gonna be ready to go. I don't think he's gonna be 100%.
No, you're just saying that to.
I know some people. I sent some text. I reached out to some people covering the Rams. I think he'll start the game. I don't think he'll finish the game. That's why I'm going with the Seahawks. Better all-around team.
Okay. Well,
And
I'm going to make a contingency pick then. If Matt Stafford is out there, the Rams win. If he's not,
Whoa! I couldn't do a contingency pick earlier in the pod.
Well, you have information I don't, so that's unfair in these picks.
That's what happens when you're a good gambler.
Here's why I say that. Like this, Sam Howell looked okay last week. He has a good quartet or trio of receivers too. And McLaren, who's the other guy? Dotson and
Curtis Samuel.
So he's got decent. And then Logan Thomas isn't the worst tight end either. And the Seahawks didn't. I mean, it's not that they had a tough time, but like there are definitely times I said to myself, if that was a better quarterback, we would have been exposed. And Matt Stafford's a good quarterback.
Seahawks have a good defense.
McVay's no. They have areas where they're good.
What's Leonard Williams doing?
He did all right last week. He had a sack.
Witherspoon, Woolen.
Yeah, those two are good. And then everything else. And then Brooks, like it's got this weird V, picture of V, and that's where we're good. We're exposed in this middle area. Bobby Wagner's slow, like he's lost a step. Jamal Adams is horrible. I watched him back up from a tackle. Like he went up to and then backed up. He arms tackle. He like tries to close arm. Rams won this game, just so I don't get my hopes up. Yeah, I mean listen. The Seahawks and then McVay's 9-5 against Carroll all time. Like I think there's just something like McVay knows Carroll too well.
Puka Nacua, knee injury, Stafford thumb. They're just too banged up.
You got Hawks.
They don't have a running game. I'm going Hawks. All right, Minnesota Vikings in Detroit. In Denver.
I don't want to talk Broncos.
Vikings next game. All right, the Super Bowl rematch. Jason Kelce does not believe in revenge games. Travis Kelce does believe in love. They are not playing in the city of brotherly love. They're playing in Arrowhead. Here's how I'm going to start out this. Do you remember? Let me take a step back. Tom Brady played with Gronk. He played 3 seasons with Randy Moss. He had some good wide receivers, but a lot of his wide receivers like Chris Hogan, Dante Stallworth, Brandon Lloyd, David Givens were kind of But Brady won 6 Super Bowls. He always had his team playing at the high level. Mahomes is starting to do that same thing with his wide receivers who we don't know. And that is why I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead. Kansas City's defense is probably the best defense he's had since he's been in Kansas City. A top-rated defense. They're going to slow down the Eagles. Give me the Chiefs.
The Chiefs have been good on defense because they've been playing against teams that just turn the ball over. Like I feel as though
they played the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins turn the ball over. Like, come on.
Maybe the Chiefs turn them over. Chris Jones provides pressure. My boy Trent McDuffie from UW's an all-pro lockdown corner.
That's holding. It's not lockdown.
It's also locking him down. Well, sometimes you got to hold to lock him down.
You don't see a guy afterwards going like this. No, he goes like, what would be lockdown?
Listen, if you can't get out of this grip, that means you're locked up.
Let's do like this is one of those locks where you pound it, like it's locked tight.
Yeah.
Locked up. So my question is, if you're Jason Kelsey, where do you stay? At Travis's house or your mom's house? Does the mom have a house in Kansas City?
She's got to have a house. You've seen all those commercials she said? She's got to have a house. No, you stay with your teammates in the hotel. Just like every other week, just like every other game.
I think Hassan Reddick gets home quite a bit against Mahomes.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs are going to struggle to get anything going. Like, I can't. Rashee Rice, is MBS still there? Like, who is he throwing the ball to outside of Kelsey? And here's what I think is going to happen: the Eagles are smart enough. They're going to go look at film. They're going to say, we're going to find a guy that's just going to beat up Travis Kelsey every time he gets off the line. Beat him up, hands to chest, dictate what way you want him to go, throw him off, and then because that's read 1, Travis Kelsey, read 2, Travis Kelsey, read 3, Travis Kelsey. By that time, someone's getting him Mahomes.
Jerick McKinnon, bubble screen, touchdown.
I'll take the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly.
This is a great Monday night game. This might be the best Monday night game of the year.
And you know why I love the Chiefs are playing it is because I kind of can.
You can actually watch the game?
Play the angle. Yeah, I can play the. Well, yeah. All right, let's review the picks. Nice pair of socks, and I'm serious. I do need a nice pair of socks, like compression, good socks. I'll take the Browns. You got the Steelers. You got the Chargers. I got the Packers. We're in lock on Texans. You got Raiders. I got Dolphins. Commanders, Niners for both. Bills for you. Oh God.
Jets. Don't change it. Jets for you. Hawks for me. Rams for you. I took the Vikings. You took the Broncos? Whoa, that's questionable. I got the Chiefs. You got the Eagles.
On what end? This entire week's questionable. What are you talking?
I didn't hear you say the Broncos, but I'll go back and listen to the tape.
What is the best?
Throw the challenge back.
Is it 7 this year?
Yeah, 7's the best.
Okay, how about this? If any one of us gets over 7 or over, bonus. Socks and I would say like insoles.
All right, we got to do Monday night though, right? The total points, just in case there's a tie.
Okay.
All right, let me look this up. Eagles, Chiefs.
45.
Over, under.
45 and a half.
What is it?
45 and a half. Okay.
I'll go 46.
Can I go back to my biggest disappointment? Alexander Madison. He stinks.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. You do have a bad team.
You'll go 46. I'll go 44.
44. Yeah. All right, should we wrap this bad boy up?
Let's get out of here.
That wraps up the show. NoFilter.net, Caffeine TV. Each week we broadcast live, usually on Thursdays, but next week, because it's Thanksgiving, we're actually coming on Monday. You can download our pod anywhere that you get your audio podcast, Apple, Pandora, iHeart, Audible, and more. Online, you can follow us at Big Ben K Winn _ at Big Ben K Winn _. We're everywhere. TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever it's called now, Instagram, Spotify. I got some cue cards for you. What does that say?
Hold on, let me get back to you. I was checking out magicmind.com / is that back? That's back, right?
It's /. /.
/ Big Ben. And then Big Ben 20 is your promo code. 56% off first subscription and 20% off your first purchase.
Magic Mind. It will blow your mind.
Boom.
Boom.
Go Broncos.
Can't wait for my socks.
Jets. Jets.